Welcome to this class on The Economist Strikes Back. So far we have been working on the concepts, the promise of CSR, and getting a firm understanding of reporting by a corporation. So we have seen the annual reports, we have seen the CSR reports. A difficulty arises right now. The Economist in 2005 published a very critical document criticizing corporate social responsibility. So we run into trouble. Our life with corporate social responsibility is not smooth as we thought or assumed implicitly it would be. This is this is emblematic of something that is very much around about corporate social responsibility, which is a very controversial field. In the corridors of corporations, oftentimes corporate social responsibility is thought of as a pure lip service, as something that people just want to hear, as something not serious. The Economist voiced this view, which is sometimes a macho view, sometimes is a simply skeptical view. In a professional way, The Economist attacked the problem and came up with three basic criticisms of corporate social responsibility. When we think of corporate social responsibility as doing good, as going out of our way, having special programs, as we have seen in the reports we are reading, as having special programs taking care of the social stakeholders and of the environment. The Economist says, if it is for business, then it is business, it is not corporate social responsibility. If it is not for business, then you are spending the shareholders' money without the shareholders' permit. And the governments should take care of the social environment and of the environment itself. Let's clarify these 3 points. If we are running, let's look at the first program. If it is for business, it is business. If we are doing something, let's say a sponsorship of a concert, if we are doing that because we think it's good for our business, we will have a return on the public awareness of our corporation, then doing that sponsorship is just plain business. It's another activity, it's publicity basically. So it's another activity which is inherent to our business. So we don't need the concept of CSR to justify that kind of activity. If that activity has nothing to do with business, then we are not authorized, we being the managers, we being the corporation, we are not authorized by our owners, unless we ask them, to spend money that are basically the owners of the company. We are not authorized to spend that money for our taste because we think that concert is an interesting thing to be sponsoring. The owners should decide, and the owners will decide whether they want to sponsor that when we return profits to them, and they will use those profits to give to charity. They will decide for that, but it is not for the corporation to decide for the destination of extra funds produced by the corporation. Finally, the point is that the environment and social concerns should be the concern of the governments. That's what the governments are all about. So this is The Economist, what the economists say. And this voice, as I said, this voices a feeling that is very much within the grapevines of corporation, but it is also in the profession, it is also in economics and in social criticism. We have an important precedent on this. It is a 1970 article by Professor Milton Friedman, who is a Nobel laureate. In 1970, Professor Friedman published an article on the New York Times, and the title was "The Business of Business is Business." The social concern of a company is to make money. If a company makes money, it is fulfilling its social concern. If it is not, then it's failing. It should, and it should not worry about anything else but making money. We have to qualify this statement, which is often quoted, and we have to qualify this because Professor Friedman is talking within the framework of classical microeconomics. So when he says the business of business is making profits, he's not saying the company is authorized to make profits at gunpoint towards society. The company has to make profits, but it has to respect all the laws and all the proper concerns of and regulations of society. So the vision is a liberalistic, is a liberal view, is a conservative view, but it is not a laissez-faire view of the corporation. It is not against regulation, it is not against the law. So once we put together all the constraints and all the concerns that should be also in the matter of management, in the minds of the manager of a corporation, we see that making profits is a less aggressive objective of the organization than it looks like if we just say it that way. The concern of business is make profits no matter what. You're not authorized to kill people, you're not authorized to not have concerns for your employees, to cheat your customers, to cheat your suppliers, to not care for the environment. That's not what Professor Friedman had in mind, and that's how we want to read his statement. For next time, one interesting question you may want to write a few words about is also why in the world the article of Professor Friedman came up in 1970. That is more than 40 years ago. Much before the concept of corporate social responsibility came about. Having discussed the point of Professor Friedman, which is important because in this area it is very much quoted, and we should qualify it the way it is quoted. It is oftentimes quoted by people who want to mean that the corporation is authorized to do whatever, anything, to make profits. Homework for next time. Include and respond the criticism that the economist levels at corporate social responsibility. Include them in your 600 words about the citizenship report and the annual report that we have been reading. In doing this criticism, just word files, no more than 600, 900 words, 2 or 3 pages, no cut and paste from the web, no PDF, please. Okay, so let's go back and enrich and make more professional our criticism, our written criticism. The 70s, as I said, let's ask ourselves, why Professor Friedman in the 70s, in the early 70s, in 1970, felt the need to point out, to clarify the business of business. For next time, we will see a intermediate view, still a conservative view, still a classical view more than a conservative one, in a defense of corporate social responsibility. So we are into this debate about social responsibility. And so read the 2006 article by Professors Porter and Professor Kramer, the Harvard Business Review article, and also read the postscript to the volume Values and Stakeholders, which is a letter to the Economist. Today's summary is that we have to brace for criticism. We are in the business of stakeholdership, and so there is debate and there is stakeholders in the area of CSR as well. We have to work a lot on the self-interest concept, which is the basic criticism of which is the basic soul of the criticism of the Economist. People act in self-interest. Why should they be good? Also, appreciate the complexity of making money. It's not that easy to speak about making profits. One other instance could be, are we here to make profits this year, or are we here to make profits for the next 10 years? Oftentimes people say corporations have a very short-term view with their quarterly reports about profits, but there are corporations that don't publish quarterly profits if they can afford it, and they're in for the long run. So what is making profit? Making profit today, making profit for 10 years. I think people want to last, and that's an element of sustainability. So that's okay. That's all for this class. Thank you very much.